for me to identify. How do you identify objects in drop-downs using descriptive programming? As simple, see, identification of object is what? Drop-down content, if you see, it is nothing but a data. So the data are managed in various ways. In my data table parameter session, I explained you how the data are managed. One, I can manage it through index. Second, I can manage it through as a content value. If I have drop down list, for example, this flight reservation window, this drop down Denver. Denver I can identify with name, then select is the method, flight from is the object, dot select is my method, Denver is the content. Directly I can use Denver within quotes and identify. But Denver is changing dynamically. I want row number 1. Then instead of Denver in quotes, I apply integer 0. 0 means it takes the first row of that list box. So that answers your question. Next question. For descriptive programming, we still have to record steps. You don't have to record steps. You can straight away start putting the syntax and the script straight. You don't have to record, right? Okay. Now I'm back to questions. So any questions? Descriptive programming, we still have to record steps. You don't have to record steps provided you are sure how the application is behaving. You don't have to record again. You can manage directly. You can start typing it onto the data. So this class of the object you can use if you know it. Otherwise you can say win object by default. Win object I can use now. Make sure the properties that you are assigning is against that win object, it is available. That is what is most important. So you can use win object itself if you are not sure what is the class of the object. But remember, whenever you are using win object, you need to use the property set belong to win object, not other property set. For example, for winEdit, if I am using it as a win object, I should not use the method set. I need to use the method type, because win object doesn't support the set method. So you have to be careful in that level. That's it. Nothing else. You don't have to worry about anything other than this. Practice. Error messages will lead you to understand much better. This is about descriptive programming. Any more questions? Please put it. How about I want to pick random web element from the drop down using descriptive program. Since he is more bothered about drop downs, I will take one session how to I manage in another example, right? So that makes him to understand clearly what it is all about. Now what I'm going to do is, in this flight reservation, I'm going to record an event. That event is like this: 12-12-13. I'm going to select this Denver, going to select Frankfurt, and then flights. I click OK, I come back, clear. This is what I'm going to record now. Right? This event I am going to use using descriptive programming. So first is easiest way to manage is, I'll say new, I'll make it as exercise. So record, easiest way for beginners, record without any problem. Just click, so this is an activation. I am now recording. Why I am recording? First is you need to understand how the objects are recognized. Without that, it is not possible for you to convert into descriptive programming. I now finish my recording. I say stop. Now what the person is asking is, now you can see this select Denver. He want to choose randomly from that drop down. That is what he's saying, that too using descriptive program. First thing you have to clear, don't confuse with data and object identification. That is the first step you need to understand. My object is fly from, fly to. Descriptive programming main purpose is identifying an object without having a repository. The right hand side what you see is purely a data management. Data management doesn't have any role to play, even though I said so. Now I'll try to manage this flight reservation. This window flight reservation, what is the object I need to use to identify? What is the property I need to use? I select the flight reservation. You can see now the spy. You cannot avoid spy. If you are avoiding spy, that means you are expert. You know all the properties. You know all the values that is being assigned to the property. You are equivalent to a developer. Please note, we have not developed. We don't know what value is being assigned to that object. Object spy will help you to know what is the property value for what object it has been used. Right? Now I go with text flight reservation. Since if it is going to be unique, I am going to use text as my property. So I go here, I change it to text colon equals. I assign it to a variable so that I can use the variable everywhere for effective run. Assign it to a variable v window flight equals, I am assigning to a variable that v window flight, I am using it across all my window object. So first is window object has been replaced now. So parent is gone. Parent is now replaced with descriptive programming. I am converting the parent. It is done now. My next job is object, win object data flight. Data flight, how do I recognize? You can notice now win object data flight, we know it is an edit box. Type is the method used, not set. Wherever you see an edit box, set is the method used. Like this, you have to be careful what is the class you use. According to the class, you need to use the method because this method has to be supported by QTP. Now win object data flight, how do I manage now? Again object spy, I select using hand symbol data flight object. So attach text I can use because that is also a property of. So I copy the attached text, I use it over here. So now I used attached text colon equals data flight. So that object, it is unique, so I don't have to bother. Win combo box fly from, again that is the class I am using. So you need to know what is the fly from has. I spy. So fly from is the object. You can see now attached text is also available for fly from. I can use attached text. With that attached text, we know it is unique. So uniqueness, arriving at the uniqueness is your important component. So wherever combo boxes, I am using now attached text. Win button flight, I know it is a text property. I can type it text colon equal to. Dialog flight table, again it is a text property colon equal to flight table. Win button, okay, again it is a text property text colon equal to. So I now managed the entire object with the repository. Now without a repository. So I remove the repository from here so that there is no ambiguity. I remove the entire repository. I choose resources. Under resources, I am now selecting the repository, deleting the repository as well. So choose resources. I am now deleting the repository from repository window. So no repository now. I closed. What his problem is, this Denver I want to choose randomly. That is his aim. If I need to do randomly, first thing I need to know is how many counts are there in that list box. Without knowing the count, I cannot choose randomly. Before I do that, let us first run the script, make sure this script works. So first level, then we solve his problem. I am just running the script, executing the script. It executes line number 1, activates the flight, it activates. So he now says object description, more than one object he is matching, because of that he is not able to manage. What is that object? We need to see now. He says window, window flight, win object, attached text, data flight. So he says win object is matching more than one data. So I need to now go into next level. So he says there are two objects matching to attached text win. You know what are all the two objects? One, I am again spying. So one is this object, this is a win object. Another is this static object. Static object also, no, static object attached text is not matching. That is in some other place he is able to identify. To exactly know this, you can do it by understanding all the objects. Now let me go to win object. Attached text, he says it is not unique. So I need to now go with native class. So native class I use now MS mask window class as an additional property to identify the object. So native class, there is no space between a native and a class. MS mask window class, I make a copy. I copy this. I copy this MS mask. I want to now type here. Here I'll put native class colon equals value now MS mask window class. Now I am assuming now this native class with MS mask window class is going to be unique. So I am now run the script again. I run the script now. First, you have to be very clear with the way the objects are recognized and what are all the identification properties used to identify the object. Activation is fine. Now you can see he is able to manage data flight. Fly from is selected, fly to is selected, OK button is also done. So there is no problem with the script. Now we come to exactly what his main. So Denver I want to now manage dynamically. I don't want to choose Denver. First thing is from win combo box, this object, I need to get from this object, I need to get, we say list count from equals, I am now getting the list count from that object. So get items count is my, so I am now getting the item count. Then I assign now rndnum equals random number variable. I now randomly choose random number parameter, random number bracket, start, it starts from 0. So count doesn't start from 0. So I need to now v underscore list underscore count underscore from object minus 1, because count starts from 1. Here the index starts from 0. So v random number, I am assigning randomly that number. Now choosing here v underscore rnd underscore num. Before I go into the next level, I need to retrieve the 2 also. I need to retrieve the count, but because 2 count is different from count. So I need to put another variable. I am now choosing another variable. V list count 2 equals. Now from 2 I need to get items count. Get items count from 2. Pass it on to the variable 2. Randomly choose from that count after the selection I need to do. I should not do it before selection. I need to do it after selection of from. I need to do this. Because after selection only the count, exact count I know. Now I choose it to rndnum1 equals random number. It is a parameter. Random number is a parameter. 0 is a start location. V underscore list underscore count underscore 2 is my variable. Minus 1 to ensure my count is matching. So I replace now select Frankfurt with V underscore RND number 1. That's all. My job is done. So randomly he chooses the number. What value he chooses randomly, it is not in my hand. So I run the script. We have done for all combinations. Right now we are doing it for one combination, one run. Randomly he chooses the value. There is no iterations we are doing. We are just running randomly. He choosing the, he is retrieved the count. He taken the random number. He now chooses random number to be 1. So 0. So 0 is selected. He is retrieving the flight to. He has selected some other random number. Los Angeles is selected. Now you can see that he is able to manage the script. I treat it as a separate exercise so that you can see it at the later period. So this is about using random number through drop down, right? Yeah. Any other questions? Please let me know. Is that clarified? How to retrieve it? If it is a web element, you never get a drop down. Please note, the web element is not a list box item. Web element is a simple dynamic object, sorry, not dynamic, non-standard object, often web application. Web element, if it is recognized, you cannot get the list content. Please note this, right? If it is only web list, you can get this items count. Web element is a non-standard object, often web. Okay. Thanks. Anything else?